Phlebotomists draw blood for tests, transfusions, research, and blood donations. In this video, we're going to help you answer the question, should you become a phlebotomist in 2020? We're going to go over the latest salaries, job market statistics, and the latest trends. Coming up. Hey everyone, Stephen Hack here with Career Watch, where we help you with your career search. If you end up enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up to support the channel. All the charts and graphs used in this video are available at my blog at www.careerwatch.co/blog/phlebotomist. Phlebotomists have a number of roles and responsibilities. They assemble and maintain medical instruments. They draw blood from patients. They label the drawn blood. They verify a patient or donor's identity. They enter the patient information into a database, and they keep work areas clean and sanitary. To explore different healthcare occupations, I definitely recommend checking out Coursera Plus. There are over 3,000 highly rated courses from leading universities and organizations such as Google. So what is the average salary of a phlebotomist? This data is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It doesn't include tips, benefits, and other forms of compensation. It only includes base salaries. The government actually didn't start surveying the incomes of phlebotomists until 2012. In 2012, the average base salary for a phlebotomist was $30,910. This steadily rose over the years to $36,480 in 2019. So from 2012 to 2019, there was a wage growth of $5,570, or about $800 per year. If you were to take this average yearly wage growth and forecast it into the future, this year, the average base salary would be around $37,000, and by 2029, the average base salary should be around $45,000 per year. Phlebotomists make different amounts of money based off experience level, geography, and other factors. The bottom 10% of phlebotomists make around $26,000 per year. This would probably be a starting salary for the average phlebotomist. And the top 10% of phlebotomists make around $50,000 per year. This is probably for someone that's a little later into their career and or lives in a pretty hot job market. The wages for phlebotomists are pretty different based off the state. High paying states in this map are in dark blue. California is the highest paying state with an average base salary of around $46,000 per year. Of course, keep in mind, California is an extremely expensive place to live. Low-paying states are the lighter blue color in this map, so a lot of southern states don't tend to pay phlebotomists quite as much, but again, these states tend to have a much lower cost of living. High-paying states include California, Washington, D.C., New York, Alaska, the state of Washington, Massachusetts, and Hawaii. Whereas low-paying states include South Dakota, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and West Virginia. There's actually an $18,000 difference between the highest paying state on average, California, and South Dakota. Another factor that influences the compensation of phlebotomists is work environment. The highest paying work environment on average is outpatient care centers with an average base salary of around $42,000 per year. Then there's labs around $37,000, doctors' offices around $34,000, and the lowest paying work environment on average for phlebotomists is hospitals with an average base salary of around $34,000 per year. So there's actually quite a bit of difference, about an $8,000 difference between the highest paying work environment, outpatient care centers, and the lowest paying work environment on average, hospitals. Compared to similar occupations, phlebotomists do okay. They are out-earned by clinical lab techs, dental assistant, vet techs, and registered nurses, but phlebotomists out-earn medical assistants and vet assistants. Many of the occupations in this graph have a higher barrier of entry. For example, clinical lab techs requires a lot more education than a phlebotomist. A phlebotomist really just requires kind of like a one-year program. We'll get into the education of phlebotomists a little bit later in the video. So what is the job market like for phlebotomists? Is this a growing field or is this a shrinking field? This data is also from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it goes back to 2012. In 2012, there was about 100,000 employed phlebotomists all across the country. By 2019, this grew to 128,000 employed phlebotomists. So this is a growth of around 28,000 jobs over a period of about 7 years. So about 4,000 job growth per year. So unlike other occupations, there hasn't actually been a single year where there has been a job loss for phlebotomists. The government is also pretty optimistic about the future job market of phlebotomists. They are predicting a 17% growth in phlebotomists over the next 10 years, from 2019 to 2029. So by 2029, they are predicting about 153,000 employed phlebotomists all across the country. So this occupation is definitely a growing field. The average occupation in comparison is only growing at about 4%. So 17% is over 4 times the growth rate of the average occupation. Employment opportunities are in every state, but obviously the states with the greatest number of people are going to have the greatest number of employment opportunities. California has the greatest number of employed phlebotomists, with around 13,000 employed phlebotomists in the state of California. Of course, California has a lot of people in it, Texas has a lot of people, and Florida has a lot of people. The population of the state really determines how many job opportunities there are for phlebotomists. So how competitive is this occupation? Are there plenty of jobs for people that are graduating different programs? If you graduated from a program, could you immediately find a job? Well, I usually use Indeed.com. Indeed.com has been consistently rated one of the most popular job search engines. So the way to do this is to compare the amount of job postings against the number of employed. So in 2019, there was about 128,000 employed phlebotomists. If you type in phlebotomist in the United States and search using Indeed.com, at the filming of this video, it gave us about 15,000 job postings. This gives us a ratio of 1 job opening per 9 employed phlebotomists. So this is actually in shortage territory. There isn't enough phlebotomists to fill all the jobs. Anytime the ratio is less than 15, this really does mean a shortage. There aren't enough phlebotomists to go around. Regarding where phlebotomists tend to work, the vast majority work in hospitals. And again, this is the lowest paying work environment according to government data. 32% of phlebotomists work in labs, 7% work in doctors' offices, and about 2% work in outpatient care centers. So would this occupation be compatible with you? One way to determine this is to take a RIASEC assessment and try and figure out what your interests are. After you take a RIASEC assessment, there's quite a few free ones out there. It really only takes about 20 or 30 minutes. After you finish an assessment, it'll give you a code and a number for 6 different domains. For phlebotomists, they score really high in the conventional and the realistic themes. People that score high in the conventional theme tend to describe themselves as practical, organized, conscientious, orderly, and careful. They are often motivated by organizing and managing information. Whereas people that score high in the realistic theme tend to describe themselves as reliable, practical, thrifty, persistent, reserved, and self-reliant. These people tend to really enjoy working with their hands a little bit. They're often motivated by building, repairing, and being outdoors. So to become a phlebotomist, basically you need to attend a phlebotomy program after graduating high school. These programs are available at community colleges, vocational schools, and technical schools. And because this isn't a super competitive occupation, you probably don't need to go to an extremely highly rated phlebotomy program. You really just need to go to maybe the community college down the street, go through the program, and just get into the work environment, get into the occupation as quickly as possible. There's no need to go to the best phlebotomy program in the United States because there seems to be plenty of jobs all across the country. The Bureau of Labor Statistics did survey the education of phlebotomists in 2017. They found that about 25% have a high school degree or equivalent, 45% have some college, 20% an associate's degree, and about 10% have a bachelor's degree. So higher education is definitely optional for this occupation. So as you can see, there's pros and cons to becoming a phlebotomist in 2020. The barrier to entry is pretty low. Really, you just need to finish a high school diploma and maybe just do a 1-year phlebotomy program at a community college or vocational school just to get in. This is not a super competitive occupation. You don't have to go to the absolute best phlebotomy program in the country. There seems to be plenty of jobs according to Indeed.com. There has been pretty good job growth over the past 7 years, and the government is actually predicting a 17% growth in the number of jobs over the next 10 years. So there's going to be plenty of job opportunities for phlebotomists going into the future. There has been okay wage growth, about $800 per year, but some other occupations tend to make a little bit more money. Are you a phlebotomist? What do you enjoy about this occupation, and what do you dislike about this occupation? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.